Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Welcome, everyone. This is your host, Steve Meisinger. Today at the ISE webinar series, we have Stanley Dash. So Stan's going to be talking about spot versus FX options. And spot, of course, just means that you can trade the actual cash, let's say the US dollar against another currency, and options, so you can trade the ISE FX options right through any broker's account. Stan, of course, is with TradeStation. He's going to show that platform today. We give webinars at the ISE, normally Tuesdays, but since we had the holiday, went to Wednesday. And tomorrow, we'll have Jack Brooks back with us. So Jack's with us on Thursdays, and Jack's always talking about what's going on with the U.S. dollar. But if you have a view of the U.S. dollar, you can trade it through any broker. But Stan is, again, with TradeStation today, so I'm really looking forward to seeing all the different features that TradeStation has. So why don't we just, I'm just going to get these slides moving. Of course, any of the examples that Stan or I talk about today will not include taxes, margin, or commission, so that's really important, and you should always consider that. You may want to learn more about options. I would highly recommend you learn more about options. You can go to you can get a prospectus at 1-888-OPTIONS or optionseducation.org. A little bit about ISE FX options. Well, number one, you can trade it through TradeStation and the other brokers. So any equity options broker, you can trade ISE FX options. They're exchange-listed securities. They are cash settled in U.S. dollars. We like to think that they're very intuitive because you don't have to worry about any kind of physical settlement, physical delivery. They're European style, and they can be traded as spreads. Most importantly, they're U.S. dollar relative, meaning that it is what is the U.S. dollar worth relative to another currency. So if you have a dollar, how much does it buy of that other currency? That's simply how the convention was set up. And the symbols are really important. So AUX is the Australian, BPX is the British pound, CDD is the Canadian dollar, EUI is the euro, SFC is the Swiss franc, YUK is the Japanese yen. And remember, these values will be increasing as the dollar rallies, and they will be sinking or selling off, declining as the dollar declines. So that's really the correlation. At this point, want to turn it back to Stanley Dash. And again, I just want to give him a warm welcome. Hey, Stan, thanks for joining us here at the ISE. Really appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I think I'm organized here. Let me see if I can get the application share correct, and if we can do that, then we'll be underway in a second.
Great. Oh, good.
Stay with me just 1 second. I've got the application share box open, and we should be able to see that. Now, what I hope you see is a TradeStation desktop with some quotes and some charts, and obviously we'll walk through those. Is the video okay? The visuals okay, Steve? Give me some.
It looks great, Stan. Yep, I see the symbols and I see some charts. Is that what you meant for us to see?
That's perfect. As long as you can see that, we'll just walk through some of these and go over some things that I have set up here. As you pointed out, the TradeStation is a brokerage, and we do service brokerage activities in stocks and in options and in Forex, as well as futures. We think that, as you and I have discussed, Steve, it's a real opportunity to be able to trade in integrated markets. And what you see in this first window here in the upper left, this is a radar screen window. For those of you who have TradeStation, I want to give you some tips, and for those of you who don't, I'll certainly fill you in as I go along. Radar screen window is a quote window that has certain enhancements. We won't really get into that here, but it is just for the moment, we're just using it as a quote window. And you'll see those first 6 symbols, as you saw on Steve's slide a moment ago, which are the ISE. I'm going to call them the indexes because essentially
Fine.
that's what they are.
That is fine. Yep.
Yep. They are the they're used as the asset base, the index base for the options. In TradeStation, a couple of tips for TradeStation users. You may know that we sometimes couch our symbols with some bizarre characters. They say that about the employees sometimes. But you'll see that the symbols begin with a dollar sign. Then it's the same three-letter alpha that Steve just mentioned. And in addition to that, there's a .x that follows it. If you're looking for these, if you don't remember what they are, and if you're looking for these, and some of our clients would know how to take a look in our lookup, just keep in mind they're on the tab labeled Index. You're not going to find them on the Options tab. You'd find the options on the Options tab, but to get the base index, it's on the Index tab. That's where you'd have to look in case you want to find those. I also put in a column showing the open interest, just to, and I noticed I had done some open interest looking at it earlier and preparing this, and I noticed the open interest is off a fraction, perhaps because of the dollar rally we had and maybe a little drop in the volatility. I didn't really go back that far into looking at it. But if you do take a look at the open interest in the options, it's certainly substantial enough to feel comfortable that this is a more than viable marketplace. And even the one just glancing at them with the lowest open interest, Sterling still has about 10,000. So there's certainly plenty of open interest in these options to work with. And those are just composite numbers for all the calls and puts for each of those assets. Now, the other symbols that I put in here were the spot market symbols, and I put them in the same order. Obviously, there's nothing in the open interest column. It doesn't work that way. That's just up here for the options, for the index and the options. And I put these in so we could begin to compare some prices and get across this idea of the relationship between the options, the index, the spot quotes, and the options, and we could see it all in the TradeStation platform. Hopefully one of the things you notice is our platform is built on a sort of a three-legged idea. We're very dedicated to a large amount of data being available instantly to clients. We have tremendous amounts of historical data. We have lots of historical data on the ISE FX indexes. I haven't checked exactly, but I would guess going back to their origin. And on the cash markets as well as other markets. So you have histories to use. You'll see those as we switch to the charts in a moment. Of course, the real-time data, and you'll see that we still have some ticking coming in on the markets, of course. And then the data is only as good as we can make analysis of that data, and we'll take a look a little bit at that as we manipulate a few things in some of the charts. So data, analysis, and of course the third leg of that triad is to be able to trade on that. And just to give you, again, just for those of you who don't have TradeStation, who are thinking about what is it, how is it different, we do try and combine in a one-stop shop the data you need for analysis, the analysis tools you need, and the trading. And we try and do that across all the asset classes in the U.S. Obviously, options and Forex. We also cover stocks and futures, and we won't really be looking at those here today.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.